Hello and welcome to another video, guys, about order prestige. I'll be talking about what orders are for, what they're about, and what you can get from them. I've had several people ask me about that before already, so I thought I'll just make a video about it. So you can access your order information by pressing default Ctrl G, or in the bottom hand left corner here. And you press that, you get your order panel. So when there's 4 tabs. In the first tab called order, you'll see some information about your order, what they're standing for. Basically, orders are political views in the game that I got a feeling that developers just had a nice idea to put this in, but they had no purpose to make it work with something. So they just had to stomp it out of the ground and make it work with random stuff they just mashed together, because I don't see a real purpose or goal between having 3 different orders than literally creating compatibility. There's no purpose to it. That aside, so there's your order. There's 3 different orders. There's order of creation, which is mine, which is the green. About life, you'll find a way. There is a blue one, order of balance, and then there's a red one, order of progress. So the difference between them is completely nihil. It doesn't exist. They're just 3 the same orders with a different color, a different name, and that's about it. Then the rest of the competition is up to the players. So for this cycle, a cycle is every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks the order ratings and order prestige reset, and it begins anew every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks there's a new order rating, as you see here, and we were the last ones in the previous cycle, so we are third. Now third depends on how much order rating your order had, and this number depends on how much rating your order got. Now this rating comes from players, the best players of each class respectively, that hits the biggest order ranking. It just sums it all up, and then that's the order's rating. Then in the game checks which order has the highest rating and then gives them the position according to that. Now this matters only for one small buff, which you find on the second tab, and the last here, gifts of the source, the third buff. As you see, we're third order, so we get nothing. It even tells you participate in the trial of blood to increase your rating. So as the game tells you already, you get this rating by doing trial of blood. So you have a training and a rating version, but I'll get to that in a moment. We'll first continue the info panel. So back to this panel. This big thing, the yellow tube, shows you the cycle duration. As you see, Monday was the 11th of May. That was when the cycle reset. So every second Monday it's going to reset. Every cycle lasts 2 weeks. So far so good. Below that you have today's gifts. Today's gifts are basically 3 buffs that everybody in your order can vote for. Like I said, they're like political views, so people can vote for stuff. In the right you see all the buffs that the game and the order has to offer, and players can vote for 3 buffs every day that they want to get for the next day. The buffs that get the most votes are picked for that next day. So you see, today we have good deeds, determination, caution. Now it's a bit rigged for European servers, because population, or I'm gonna say European pay-to-play server only, because population is not as much as it is for the Russian or the European free-to-play. That means that the player that was on the first ranking gets a vote value of 200. Meaning that when that first player picks a buff, then that buff gets 200 votes. The next players from rank 2 to 10 only have a vote value I'm gonna go mistaken here because it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that number 2 up to 5 have a vote value of 50. And then the rest of them, so 6 to 10, have a vote value of 10. And then people from rank 11 all the way to rank 100, or in this case 46, because there's not as many in this order, only have a vote value of 3. New players that join during a cycle have a vote value of 1. So as you can see it coming, low population servers like this one are dominated by the player on the top, because that person basically has the say in which buffs are coming, because it's hard to oppose that amount of vote value with the leftover players. It only would work if the other players are banding together and saying which buff they want instead, and they vote for the same thing. Maybe then they overvote that buff they want, but otherwise it's kind of generally dominated by the person on number 1. So that's the other buffs. Which ones they are? There's a lot of different ones that you can basically plan to do content ahead of time with your static, with your guild, depending on like what content you'd like to do the day after. Stuff. It's basically an enhancer that you can use to boost the content you want to do in the upcoming days. Now, some things, I'm gonna give away a few secrets here. Some buffs are giving not exactly what they're describing that they're giving. For example, Good Deeds is giving exactly what it does so far as I've seen, but you have 2 different buffs here, and this is going to be interesting for people that like to grind order prestige. You have Favor of Elements, which is a KoE buff. It gives extra order prestige by 50% for anything you do in KoE, which is Kingdom of Elements, as we all know. So everything you do here, your daily quests, are going to give more order prestige if you have that buff active that day. Now, we're in Al Rehab, and when you're collecting these chests that are spawning every 30 minutes, they're also affected by this buff. I have no idea why, I don't know how, I calculated all my buffs correctly, and they're actually affected, but not the ones that spawn every day at random on these locations. Only the 2 chests that spawn every 30 minutes. Same goes for, and I know this is weird, but it's true guys, same goes for Glorious Battles. Increases order prestige gain for doing battlegrounds by 50%. Also affects the chests. So basically the best order prestige grind you can do is combining Glorious Battles with the KoE one with Good Deeds. You're going to ruin nice combo buffs for everybody, just so that you can grind like a Korean farmer to get the highest out of it. But I'm just giving it out there that this is currently how it is. I don't know if they're gonna fix it or not. I already reported it like 3 months ago, then 4 months ago. It doesn't seem to change. I don't know if it's so hard to change some value in the code, but it seems that this is the way how it is. So there's some secrets given away there. There's a few more, but I'll keep them to myself. Otherwise I'm gonna lose everything. Anyway, so those are the orders buffs explained. Now you see that some look different than others. Yeah, you have these vote thingies, and then there's nothing. Now it's grayed out because I already voted my buffs for today. As you see here, it says 200. Now the other ones you can vote for is because they're on a cooldown. Once a buff has been picked to be active on that day, these buffs will go on a 4-day cooldown after this. So they'll only be available to pick again after 4 days. So you can't spam the same buffs, you can't rotate the same buffs. You need to kind of have like a rotation so that something happens for everybody, because not everyone likes the same content as you do. So there's gonna be something for everybody that the game offers. There's mostly 3v3 combats, there's JC, which is Junkat comps, there's battleground buffs, there's KoE buffs, there are stats which are mostly used for pushing higher levels in heroics. They also help you on guild keepers. So if you're a guild and you have a top order leader in your guild, then you can plan with them for buffs on the same day that you're gonna do guild keepers, because it does help speed things up. There's Astral Nuggets for people that like Astral. There's something for everybody. So now, Gifts of the Source, like I said, the last buff we already spoke about is about the position of your order. The second buff is about the position of your order prestige. So for the third tap, you have order prestige. Depending on which place you were on the previous cycle of your order prestige, you're going to get a buff here on the second tap, depending on that. I was first, so I'm basically getting this Warlords Will, which is an ability that gives me, I'm gonna use it here, power for 30 seconds and CC immunity for 10 seconds, which is really OP, but it only works in open worlds. It doesn't work in stuff where it actually matters, such as ranked PvP and dominions, and wherever else you can imagine it, it doesn't work. Now there's also a thing that people prefer to have Valiant, since a few patches ago they made some changes, so power used to be the preferable thing. Seems like they didn't really update it, or it doesn't scale, or developers know more than we do. But since we prefer Valiants, it's kinda not that preferable. Also the cooldown is an hour, so which is it's like a hit or miss. You want to make sure that you use it when you know you're going to need it. So then that's that. Aside of that, there's also Commandant Emblems increase, BG Emblems and Amalgam by 20%, by 10%, sorry, by 10%. And as you see, vote value 200, so that's also the one deciding how much vote value you're going to get for the buff that you want to vote for. Now, for people that are going to be 2nd to 5th, they're going to have a different buff that there's going to be with less percentages, and perhaps combat emblems will decrease there as well. So there's different bonuses that you get there for your order prestige ranking. Next is then the first blade is basically the rating or ranking you get, the buff you get, depending on which position you were for your class in the Trial of Blood. So for every class, it's calculated separately. The best players of their class get bonus rewards and this buff. Now this buff is nothing. This buff basically is a token that you will be able to show to the order vendor, so that NPC knows what stuff to give you, which we'll get to in a second. So your rating in the Trial of Blood only matters to be the best of your class, not which class you are. And I'm gonna show you guys. I'll probably make a cut here, so I'm gonna show you guys here what you can get for being the first or the second or the third in your rating for your order, depending on your class. I'm always going to Astral Academy because this NPC is universal, I'm gonna say, so no matter what order you're from, you can get all your stuff here. So this is the order NPC. Now, depending on which rank you were, you're going to get these rewards. If you had a lower ranking, you're going to see that you'll have a less quantity, or you're not going to have something at all. And that's it for that. That's literally it. It's just to enhance the rewards you get from your order vendor. You're going to get rewards either way by your order prestige rating, but then your rating for Trial of Blood is going to enhance that even more. Now, depending on which items you get, it also doesn't matter what you pick, because you see that these quantities are coincidentally the same. No, they're exactly the same because of this reason. They're categorized in certain categories that we don't know, but they're basically linked. So you can't take everything here you see. If I would take 30 amalgam, then there would also be 30 disappearing from matter, fragments, and tools. Yeah. I think also the Barrels of Tears are also linked, and the Symbol of Glories. Then you have these sashes. The combat sash will increase your rewards from ranked PvP and trainings. You have BG sashes for battlegrounds to get bonus rewards. And then you have also the Goblin Ball sashes, which are not here, or I'm blind, here they are, Champion's Bowl. So these 3 are also linked, so if you take 3 of these, then also 3 disappear of the other ones. Then you have the defensive potions, which are also linked to each other, and then you have the buff food from order that are also linked. You see here that there's a core storage. Only the leaders of the order, so only the people that were first with the order prestige are getting them. So there's basically 3 every 2 weeks people with a core that they can use all the time. I don't know, I'm not sure if this is for free to play the same thing. I will assume not, because they have cash up there that they can buy them with real money. Pay to play here has a system that you're basically playing to get this stuff or you're not getting it. That's for the rewards. That's about prestige. That's been about rating. So rating, how do you do this? So when you click on the button here, open Adventures, or as you see there's a skirmish tab, you just go to skirmishes, which is by default Control M. I changed mine. You can go to dungeons and then order. So you have rating and you have training. The difference between these is that training can be done a limited amount of times so that you can practice the best way possible to do your rating. And then once you go to rating, it's only a 1 attempt. If you fail here, you're done for your cycle, for your 2-week cycle. So you can train here all the time, so you know exactly what to do, when, where, when to use speed potions, when to use teleportations, positions, and so on and forth. So it gets really extreme if you want to get that top spot in your class. Then rating is literally 1 attempt. If you fail somewhere, it's unforgiven, you're kicked out, and that's it. That's your rating for that season. Yeah, I think I explained most of it. That's about it of this video about Order Prestige. I think I explained most of everything that I could explain, what there is to explain about. I will put a link in the description to a webpage that I made, again, about Order Prestige, so that people that are more website person than a video person, you can just click that link and you'll see everything there nicely listed down below with text and explanations and pictures and whatnot, so that you can see the information again without having to review this video all the time. So that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope I see you on the next one, and have a good one. Bye.